on? What you mean? He gonna talk about I love you. Meanwhile, I'm seeing all these cheating ass Facebook. Oh shit, hold on, girl. I gotta call you back. They calling me. What's up? We live? Shit, we up. Hello and welcome to World News Tonight. I'm your host, the boyfriend stealer. And we're gonna get into some of the top stories this week. I'm the librarian, and I came to read. Ladies and gentle gays, I have a question for you all. Doesn't it feel like we're living in one big ass episode of House of Cards, except that, unlike how Netflix does all of its shows, we can't cancel this one? I hate it. I hate to see that, hate to experience it. But I'm gonna tell you something that you're not gonna hate to experience. That's patreon.com/AdrianExpression, especially because this upcoming Tuesday, I will be releasing yet another episode of the Expression Podcast. Over there, my patrons are already submitting topics. They're giving me topics that they want me to cover. So you need to, if you haven't already, go ahead and sign up. Now, speaking of signing up, my hope and wish is that Tyler Perry allows some of the talented writers to sign up to write some of his shows, because if you are not aware, this is what he posted on his Twitter.
So I don't know if you know this, but all shows on television have a writer's room. And most of the time there are 10 people, 12, whatever, that write all these television shows, right? Well, I have no writer's room. Nobody writes any of my work. I write it all. Why am I telling you this? I wrote all of these scripts by myself in 2019. What's my point? Work ethic.
Now, if you've been paying attention to, the discourse surrounding him and his work, some of the trailers that have been released, the reception that, especially the latest one, what was it? It was Acrimony. If you've been paying attention to a lot of this, and even before this, like a lot of people, including myself, have been asking for Tyler Perry to just do better when it comes to the content, the themes, the suffering black woman, the tired ass come to Jesus moment. It's just like, oh my God. And the little dab, the dash of colorism on top. It's just, everyone has been like, girl, Tyler, you got a lot of resources and we want you to do better. And so he posted a thing on Twitter. It's just like, wow, it makes a lot of sense now. I knew he was the main mind behind all of his shows, like everything that he puts out. And while he says that it's work ethic and that's cool, you writing, 10 shows in 1 year, it's just like, girl, at this point, you got enough coin, you have a lot of access and avenues, find you some, vet the talent, find you some awesome ass writers and let them take some of these shows off your hands, because somebody could be an author could be writing 10, 20 books in 1 year, and if the quality of it is all muddied, it's just like, girl, why? Why? But then on the other hand, I feel like Tyler Perry knows who he's getting his coin from, you know what I mean? Like, he knows who he's getting his money from, and I don't think that core is really asking for anything else. They just want to see the same repeated, stereotypical cautionary tales type of shit, and that's that. So I don't know. I just brought that up because I know I was talking about Tyler Perry and that recent trailer that came out, and I was just like, girl, but this really explains a lot as to why we feel the way we do when we see some of his work. What else can we talk about? We're gonna speed through some of these things. Judge Judy was on The View, and she was dragging the shit out of these guns and AR-15s and all that shit. And it's very telling that we see Nutmeg McCain shut her mouth when it comes to all things Judge Judy. She was on mute, sis, like somebody had accidentally leaned over on a remote. I was like, damn, is Meghan McCain at the fucking table? That was funny. What was not funny is that Judge Judy really thought we were going to listen to her when she went up there on The View talking about, girl, I endorse Michael Bloomberg. And it's just like, sis, keep it. We didn't ask you. And we're not even remotely looking in that direction when it comes to trying to figure out who we want for the presidential candidate, the Democratic candidate, girl. It's just, especially one of the main things, one of the key sentences that you said was that I don't feel that this country needs a revolution. And that's all that's literally the only sentence we need to understand what your politic is. You know what I mean? Like, you're not at risk, you're not hurting for shit. It's just like, and you're going to put in the people who will keep this cycle going, this cycle of just, oh, I don't know what's going on. I got my blinders on. That's just, girl, thank you so much. Thank you so much for visiting The View. We'll handle the politics from here on out. Thank you so much, sweetie. Mwah, Judge Judy. Woo, love you. Bang the gavel, sis. Let me bang this. Really quick side note, Harvey Weinstein has arrived in New York City. Yes, ma'am, honey. Look at him and his useless ass walker that his ass don't need, honey. He's going over there to face a whole bunch of charges, some specific ones, but in general, 80 women have come out against his ass like we already know. But what's interesting is that I read today that in LA, there were some new charges brought up against his ass. So while he's dealing with this in New York, I don't know what's gonna happen. He's gonna have to teleport like Nightcrawler over to LA and handle that shit, maybe. I don't know, girl, but good riddance. I wanted to give an update about the Australia fires, and if any of you guys are watching this from Australia, please leave in the comments your experience of what's going on, because this shit is actually ridiculous. This come from NPR. NPR is saying that officials said that the fires will be burning for months to come, and at least 25 people have already died. NPR is also saying that nearly 500 million animals have perished in the state of New South Wales alone. CNN is saying that about 2,700 firefighters were battling the blazes, and the smoke in Sydney caused the air quality to be 11 times the hazardous level. More than 14.7 million acres have already been burned, and that's bigger than the countries of Belgium and Haiti combined. Now, the effects of this shit can be seen from space, which I thought was absolutely mind-blowing, and there are a lot of people who have been pushing for climate change awareness, and because of all of this that's going on, as we start to see more and more things like this pop up, we will see people get more and more fed up with the powers that be acting like this shit is not an issue. You see what I'm saying? So my heart goes out to everybody who is in Australia and who's experiencing that shit, because my goodness. All right, so let's talk really quickly about some of the things that happened during the Golden Globes, because I did not sit my ass down and watch that whole dry ass program for the, you know what I mean, whole 3-4 hours it was on. I'm sorry, y'all are just getting the highlights. That's just it, no shade. I'm only gonna talk about like 2 outfits. Billy Porter looked amazing as usual, just putting you men to shame with your tired ass, boring ass black tuxedos, girl. You know he takes you hoes out the game every time like he's a fucking basketball coach. Now Kerry Washington, sis, now the reason I'm bringing this up is because sometimes we be dragging Kerry a little bit for what she wears. I'm sure it doesn't mean much to her coming from a nigga with blue hair, glitter on his face, and a half cropped off ass shirt. But sis almost had me, girl. She almost had me. I love the top of this. I just feel like if she had on some tight ass black pants to match that black jacket, girl, ooh, she would have given me my life, but I love you, Carrie, girl. So, of course, I'm gonna talk about my fave. Beyonce apparently arrived to the Golden Globes late as hell, about an hour late, and it's a wonder she even showed up to that shit, because I knew she wasn't gonna win that goddamn Golden Globe. It's not really a surprise to anybody. Apparently, this was her face when Elton John won that Golden Globe for Best Original Song, and it's just like, girl, I still haven't heard that goddamn song yet, girl. Spirit was all over the place, and if y'all are really making me go up for a gospel song, Spirit, watch the heavens open. I'm just like, okay, girl, but yeah, you know what I mean? At this point, y'all got me defending gospel songs and shit. I'm just like, wow. But we're not surprised. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think any black person won. I don't think any black person won a Golden Globe that night. It's just like, you know, just take the resources and go build your own shit. Why y'all keep showing up to this shit? Y'all have so much money and power. Make your own shit. Ooh, just give me y'all net worths. I'll turn this whole shit around. I'll turn it around. I think she was just over it. She was over it. I mean, you should have known that she was over it when Jay-Z and Julius, her bodyguard, came in there with Ace of Spades champagne when the night was sponsored by Moet. And Beyonce said, I'm not drinking that cheap ass shit. Y'all can do that. My stomach and my throat, that shit is insured. I can't be putting that cheap shit in my stomach. So she came there with her own bottles. Let me make sure I get this right and read this coming from the New York Times. Awkwafina on Sunday night became the first Asian American woman to win a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress. She won in the musical or comedy category for her role in The Farewell. And you know what? I say farewell to that tired ass black scent that she used to climb her way all the way up to a Golden Globe. It's so interesting how the same people who they rip and steal shit from are still sitting down there with no fucking awards, no resources, no way to get their stories out, and when they do, that shit gets ignored, looked over, pushed over, walked over, and it's just just a bunch of people. It's just not Awkwafina. So many people, they get to just put on the caricature, put on the fucking costume of blackness, and it'd be so exaggerated, over the top, and stereotypical, and not accurate in the least. And they get all the awards, but bitch, the originators. It's just, and I bring this up because after this award, it's gonna be no black scent. It's gonna be nowhere to be found. Every time she go up on an interview, she's going to sound just like this. It's just, you know, really watch, pay attention to this girl. The higher she climbs, the less likely it is that her ass will be over here doing those circus clown built ass black scents, all right? Congratulations, Awkwafina. I also wanted to talk about the whole Ricky Gervais or Gervais, I don't know, girl, I never know how to pronounce these motherfuckers' name. So he was up there dragging, making the girls laugh and stuff, and there was a small part of his monologue that went viral. He was speaking to a bunch of the actors and stuff in the audience, and he said, if you win, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off. And he said also, he's just like, this, now is not the time for you to get political. And a lot of people got angry as fuck about it, but then I went and watched the whole monologue, and right before that, he was saying, it was this whole thing, he was saying, Apple, y'all recently got into the movie business, basically, and y'all have this show coming out, I forget what it is, but he said the show was all about dignity and doing the right thing, and this is coming from a company that runs sweatshops. Then he focused back on the actors and actresses in the room. He said, y'all will work for these companies, Apple, Amazon, you name it, and then come up here and y'all want to start being political. And then that's when he went into, now it's not time for y'all to be political, y'all need to just say what y'all saying and sit y'all ass down. Once I got the full picture of it, I was like, oh, okay, I get what he's saying. Like, how y'all working for these crazy ass, sadistic ass companies and coming up here talking about rights and freedom and trying to be super political. But then you can zoom that out even further to all of us who buy from these companies, who subscribe to all these services, and then we up here talking about, well, girl, we got to change that. It's just like, I think that was a good critique on Hollywood, how some of these people will be involved with a bunch of bullshit behind the scenes and come up and, you know, in these award shows and speeches and say one thing when they're doing another. But it's also a larger critique on greater society. It's just like, at what point is enough, like truly, like for real, where we start acting on it. But at the same time, I am glad that these celebrities went up there and were political as hell. There was talks of gay rights, human rights, women's rights, all this shit. So that's cool. I want to see more niggas. As a matter of fact, like I said before, let them have this shit and let's go build something else. I'm never gonna stop saying this. I'm never gonna stop saying it. And the last thing I'll say about the Golden Globes is that Parasite won, let me see what it won, for Best Foreign Language Film, even though I think it was one of the best films ever, like this year, like ever. It was a huge critique on capitalism. The director, Bong Joon-ho, he said, you know, a whole new world will open up to you all if you just get over the fact that y'all have to read subtitles. I was like, good luck talking to these ethnocentric ass motherfuckers. Just like, he said there will be a whole new dimension of films and TV shows if y'all would just tolerate reading subtitles. And it's true, it's true. That's all I'm gonna say about the Golden Globes. If you have anything else that you want to discuss, leave it in the comments or sign up to my Patreon at patreon.com/AdrianExpression. Let me know what you want me to talk about on the podcast and we can discuss it. I will end this video by giving you a quick update on what's going on with the tired toupee, the talking toupee, the trashy toupee, the tattered toupee, the torn toupee, the cheating Cheeto-in-chief himself. One of the things that got social media in a frenzy was the fact that he said this, he tweeted this: the United States just spent $2 trillion on military equipment. We are the biggest and by far the best in the world. If Iran attacks an American base or any American, we will be sending some of that brand new beautiful equipment their way and without hesitation. He also said that his tweets are going to be now serving as an official notice to Congress that he's going to be doing whatever the fuck he wants to be doing when it comes to Iran. So it's just like, wow, you're really trying to govern from Twitter. There's a lot of things that were going on. One of the things I saw, and I don't know how confirmed this is, but I saw that Iran or somebody over there was, you know, saying that, girl, we got an $80 million bounty on that buffoon's head. Like, I was like, damn, $80 million for that nigga head? I said at this point, he gotta watch his own officials, he gotta watch his own cabinet, how corrupt their asses are. Girl, $80 million, they've done worse for less. I'm positive of it. So I'm sure he's exercising caution because I'm sure that the people he surrounds himself with have no problem turning the Oval Office into an episode of Game of Thrones for $80 million. He's also said that he's trying to target 52 sites, including cultural sites, which means civilian sites, in Iran to attack for retaliation, giving us very much war crimes type of tease, but we should not be surprised as that is America's legacy. All these presidents, war crimes, that's just their middle name, right? All of them. But Donald Trump's vast incompetence and his ego makes this even more dangerous for everybody. I'm just happy that people, from what I'm seeing, are challenging this notion that America is right all the time and that we're just fighting for freedom every time we go overseas. It's like, no, girl, we need to be worried about some of these civilians in Iran who are going to be experiencing the forefront of these stupid ass wars with these money hungry, power hungry idiots sitting at the top, pressing buttons and making calls while they send people, especially poor people in this country, to go kill off poor people or people with less power in other countries. It's all around disgusting and a mess. But yeah, that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you tell me what you thought about the topics we covered in the comments. Make sure that you check out patreon.com/AdrianExpression for early videos, articles, and of course my podcast. And make sure that you all have a good goddamn evening.